Kingdom Hearts has an insanity to its writing that I find entertaining. There are times where it feels like Nomura is just making stuff up as he's going, and then there are some times that it feels like he's playing checkers while we're all playing chess. Like this drawing from Sora's room in KH1. Hello, characters who wouldn't exist until later games. What are you doing here? Today's topic is kind of a scattered look at the writing of Kingdom Hearts. The good, the bad, and why I'm very excited for the future of this series. One of my favorite examples of how Kingdom Hearts has good writing is how some lines have evolved with context from later games. Take this line from Xigbar in KH2.
That's right! He used to give me that same exact look.
For the initial release, it was safe to assume that he was referring to Roxas. He is Sora's nobody, and they recently reunited, so it wouldn't make sense that they share the same mannerisms. Well, I guess it makes sense if you know what a nobody is. On top of that, the series has shown that they can talk through each other, so it's entirely possible that Roxas is glaring at Xigbar through Sora. But I'd argue he isn't referring to Roxas in this scene. In Birth by Sleep, Ventus gives Xigbar the exact same look. He even comments on the look. And we know out of all of the people connected to Sora, Ven is the first one Xigbar thinks of. Because in 358, it's confirmed that Xigbar sees Ven when looking at Xion, a character whose appearance is different depending on the person looking at them. Often her appearance reflects someone with a strong connection to Sora. The strongest connection Xigbar has to Sora is Ven. But why does her appearance change? That is because she is made up entirely of Sora's memories that Xemnas sampled from Sora during the secret boss fight in Kingdom Hearts 1 Final Mix. A game that was never localized until the PS3 port. Oh, and Ven and Sora's hearts have been intertwined since the day of Sora's birth. Even more so after the events of BBS. This is a fun example of how paying attention to all of the games is rewarding. You just really get to see how intertwined they are. There's just a lot of stuff like this that's never explained and is just allowed to live in the subtext. It's something I find very rare in games because way too many will just flash back to a previous scene that explains the subtext, removing any nuance in the process. It's honestly way too rare for a character to remember something without there being a flashback explaining it. But enough of that mini rant. Let's rewind back to when Ven glared at Xigbar, and let's see how he responds.
Oh, so this kiddo thinks he's a full-fledged Keyblade wielder.
That's a really interesting thing to say because when this game initially came out, he only knew 4 Keyblade wielders at this time. But then KH3 dropped a bombshell and revealed that Xigbar is one of the Lost Masters, Luxu. To understand who Luxu is, we have to jump back generations to Kingdom Hearts Key back cover. Anyways, it's entirely likely that we will know exactly who he is talking about in this scene. The Luxu twist in general does a very good job of adding new context to scenes from previous games. Like this scene in KH2 where he rats out Xemnas. I always found it interesting that he was that invested in what Xemnas was doing in the Chamber of Repose. But with the context that he's been working with the Masters of Masters this whole time, it makes sense that he's trying to sow some doubt into other members of the organization. The main reason why I like this scene because it gains a lot of meaning because of Birth by Sleep. To quickly run through BBS's ending, Terra is possessed by Xehanort, and thanks to Kingdom Hearts 2, we know that he turns himself into a heartless and a nobody. And one of the only parts of Terra to remain is his will trapped in his Keyblade armor. Just chilling, being one of the hardest bosses in the whole series. Ven's heart is shattered and Aqua leaves his body in the Chamber of Waking until it can be restored. His heart is recovering within Sora's, and Aqua is trapped in the Realm of Darkness. It was highly theorized that Xemnas was going to the Chamber of Repose to reach out to Aqua and try to find where Ven is as a part of his evil plan. Fast forward many years to 0.2, and look who's trying to reach out to Aqua while she's in the Realm of Darkness. Kingdom Hearts 2 Final Mix in general does a very good job of teasing Birth by Sleep. But wait, that wasn't the only Terra theory floating around after BBS. The first time we canonically see the Guardian, that thing Ansem summons in KH1, is when Aqua is fighting Terra Xehanort at the end of Birth by Sleep. Regular Xehanort, Young Xehanort, and Xemnas all can't summon him. It's only Young Xehanort and Ansem. This led to people theorizing that the Guardian is Terra. If you know a lot about Kingdom Hearts and look deep enough, you can very easily make that connection. This was later confirmed in Kingdom Hearts 3 when the Guardian breaks free to save Aqua and Ven. And if you didn't know what was happening in this scene in KH3, you kind of have to jump through a few hoops to get it. But as a fan, this was incredibly satisfying to see. I want to talk about one more thing with Xigbar and Birth by Sleep, but it's something that we have the answer for. Halfway through the game when we first see him, he has his natural eye color. By the end of the game, it's Xehanort yellow. It even zooms in to emphasize that this is an important thing. This is not explained until the end of Dream Drop Distance, where it's revealed that a part of Xehanort's master plan is to put his heart into different vessels to form the Keyblade. A weapon I kind of wish they just called the X-Blade because you really need subtitles to know which one they're talking about. It's fun that BBS plays that moment close to the chest because that part of Xehanort's plan doesn't matter at this moment. But yeah, there's just a bunch of rewarding moments in this series. Like when Roxas returned in KH3. That's something fans have wanted to see since like 2005. Even more so because of 358. And it did not disappoint me. The scene in general is just very well done. Before he comes back, Xion is fighting Sora, who's begging her to stop. Roxas then speaks through Sora, which provides a connection for him to return. After his return, the following songs that play are both remixes of his theme, which have sections in them that use Sora's and Xion's theme. While the time travel in this game does stretch logic to make it work, much like all time travel, I like these moments, so I'm alright with the game stretching a bit to make these happen. But the stretching is a great way for me to segue into the bed. There are three things that Kingdom Hearts writing does that I believe leads to its reputation. One, the series will reach for a cool moment. Kingdom Hearts threw in time travel to basically have characters who've died return for this final chapter, just so we have 13 villains we care about fighting. I can see why people hate it when Kingdom Hearts does this. That's just what happens when Kingdom Hearts' magic system allows for pretty much anything to happen. Some stuff will feel like it's coming out of left field. But as long as the moments we get out of it are cool, I'm alright with it. 2, even with context, some lines sound pretty bad.
Because I'm you. No, I'm me. I'm me, he says.
I don't know if some of these lines just play better in Japanese than they do English, because in English it can get pretty bad.
You could say I am the biggest nobody of them all.
The subtext behind this line is great. Nobodies aren't supposed to exist, and they don't really have emotions, they just fake having them. It's really good insight into how Riku feels about himself in this point of the series. The main issue being, nobody is an actual word. The surface level text just sounds like he's calling himself irrelevant and a loser.
Say, fellas, did somebody mention the door to darkness?
In general, Kingdom Hearts dialogue doesn't play well out of context. That's just what happens when you name really important in-universe stuff after real English words.
Mickey! It's Riku! They put bugs in him!
What?
It's an interesting problem to have where if you just remove context, the lines completely fall apart. As funny as Kingdom Hearts out of context videos are, I wonder how much damage they've done to the series' reputation. And that out of context subject as a whole is the main reason why I believe most people think Kingdom Hearts is poorly written. The writing in this series has a ridiculously high barrier to entry. I'm not saying it's like Rick and Morty where you need a high IQ to understand it. I'm a dummy and I know what's going on. You just have to like really be paying attention and remember a lot for anything to make sense. It doesn't help that some things that were initially irrelevant become relevant. Like this scene of Isa and Lee. It didn't mean a lot in BBS. They're just heading to the Radiant Garden Castle. As of Kingdom Hearts 3, it turns out they were doing something very important for the future of the series. I think the best example I can give to the high barrier of entry for this series' writing is something I pinned as good writing in this video. To explain why I liked this one line in Kingdom Hearts 2, I jumped back to Kingdom Hearts 1, to something that wasn't even localized until 2013, over a decade after its initial release, after I already jumped forward to 358 and Birth by Sleep. And if you really wanted to understand the whole Xion thing, you would have to run over to Chain of Memories quickly to get a quick lesson on how memories are a tangible thing in this series that are tied to everybody's hearts. And that's not the only thing like that. It's all over this series. There's been so many times where somebody has asked me one question about a later Kingdom Hearts game, and then I would have to explain something that would explain the explanation. Now, is it bad writing that for Kingdom Hearts 4 to make sense, you would have to consume Kingdom Hearts 1 Final Mix, Chain of Memories, Kingdom Hearts 2 Final Mix, 358 over 2 days, Birth by Sleep, Recoded, Dream Drop Distance, Unchained Key, Back Cover, Birth by Sleep 0.2 A Fragmentary Passage, Kingdom Hearts 3, Remind, Union Cross, Dark Road, Melody of Memory, Missing Link, maybe Final Fantasy Versus 13, a game that never came out, and any future games that were teased in Kingdom Hearts 4. No joke, I messed up that line so much I am lightheaded. So that's like what? 12 games, some of which are movies on collections, some are discontinued mobile games, better hop on YouTube, and one is just trailers for a game that never came out. Is it bad writing to have this many titles be as interconnected as they are? I like it because it makes it very rewarding as a viewer. But I've also consumed all of these massively interconnected games, and I am willing to set aside time for future titles to continue to understand it. But some people don't want to do that and might not even have the time to go through all of it. I've seen a lot of people say that Kingdom Hearts 1 is the only one that makes sense and is well written. I think this comes from it being the first game in the series, and you don't really need to play another one to understand what's happening. God, I hate that I have to reference this show because I just hate it so much, but it's the best analogy that I can think of. You know that one scene from Family Guy where Peter says that he doesn't like The Godfather because it insists upon itself? Recently, two things made me think of that line. One, there's no pausing in FromSoft games, and I find that insane. Two, I started writing this video and I got to the barrier of entry part. Kingdom Hearts insists that you fully engage with its story, and it is completely willing to leave you behind if you don't. As much as I love how much these games are intertwined, it asks a lot from someone jumping into this series for the first time, and as it keeps going, it's just going to become a bigger and bigger ask. At least they're very accessible outside of mobile games. KH is truly the video game writing equivalent of Mr. Bones' Wild Ride. For those of you who don't know, Mr. Bones' Wild Ride is a custom roller coaster in Roller Coaster Tycoon 2 that takes 4 in-game years to ride. The exit just leads to another entrance, much like how answering one question in Kingdom Hearts requires answering another, and there's no getting off Mr. Nomura's Wild Ride. On the bright side, that does mean Kingdom Hearts will explain everything at some point. I don't know when, but it will. At the very least, it's going to take 4 years until we get a new answer. Again, is it bad writing to demand that people remember small details for the story to make sense, or for explanations to require so many rabbit holes? I'll leave that up to you. As someone who knows what's going on, I'm having a good time, and that's all that really matters to me. I don't want to end this video on a negative note, so I want to talk about something I actually cut from my Final Fantasy 15 mobile game video, and how it relates to the future. Kingdom Hearts 3, I was getting the vibe that Nomura was salty about what happened to Final Fantasy Versus 13. A lot of art from KH3 paralleled it and 15. And then this whole thing happened at the start of the Toy Story world. Why is there a fake Versus 13 here? I don't know. Maybe initially this was supposed to be like a trailer for 7 Remake or 15. Maybe Nomura just wanted to add a fun nod to Versus 13 in this scene, because according to rumors, Disney didn't want any FF characters in KH3. Then during KH3's secret ending, Sora and Riku wake up in seemingly that world alongside the fake Noctis guy. Nah, that's just a coincidence. Look at the 104 building. Clearly Sora is just in Shibuya from The World Ends With You. Riku is in Baromex, so this just means we're getting Square Enix worlds in Kingdom Hearts 4, right? It's not like Nomura said Sora isn't in Shibuya from The World Ends With You. And then KH3's DLC ended with a shot-for-shot remake of a Versus 13 trailer, and then also had dialogue that parallels the beginning of Sora's journey. Ever since Remind came out, I've been operating under the assumption that it was supposed to be Versus 13 not Verum Rex. I remember a while ago reading a quote from Nomura saying while he's developing one Kingdom Hearts game, he's writing the script for the next major one and then doing the concept for the one after. If you look at when Versus 13 was first announced to the public and how Nomura writes Kingdom Hearts games, and then you factor in an old quote from Nomura saying Kingdom Hearts 3 doesn't happen until after Versus 13 is released, everything kind of just clicks. That's what I meant when I said Square putting 15 through hell delayed Kingdom Hearts in that last video. Obviously, this is all just me speculating, but it really seems like Nomura was planning that crossover for a very long time. Kingdom Hearts canonically crossing over with a Final Fantasy game would have been amazing. I think that's why they described the Verum Rex world in Melody of Memory like they did. It's a world of fiction, unreality, because that game never happened. I also think the dreams for that crossover is why Kingdom Hearts 3 took so long. 15 needed to be done so the setup for that crossover in Kingdom Hearts 3 would work. But Square messed around too much, kept moving resources off of the project and wasted too much time. The crossover never happened. Hell, what Nomura wanted 15 to be never happened. But that hasn't stopped him from saying, screw it, I'll still do it anyways. The last straw in solidifying this connection for me was when I was listening to Kingdom Hearts 3's soundtrack. I saw the name for Yozora's battle theme and said to myself, I swear, if this translates to anything with night in it, it's German for Nightwing. But wait, there's more. Verum Rex translates to True King in English, which kinda very much relates to Noctis. Hell, Noctis's full name translates to Nightlight Sky. And the fake Noctis in that True King trailer, Yozora, his name translates to Night Sky. Outside of all the Verum Rex stuff, the one thing I'm really excited to see is where this series takes Xigbar. The more we learn about him, the more interactions with him in previous games evolve, and I just want to see how deep it goes. And that's all I have to say about the writing in Kingdom Hearts right now. I'll probably do a follow-up to this in the future, maybe after KH4. There's just a lot to consume in this series, and it can seem so messy. But if you really engage with this series and look past some of the flaws that I mentioned, I truly believe you will have a good time. Do you agree? Think I'm an idiot? Comment down below. Dislike the video if you think Kingdom Hearts has its head so far up its own ass, and subscribe for more bad content. Follow me on other platforms if you want. Take care, guys.
No closing meme today, but I want to give a huge shout out to the Wayfinder project. It's the website that I use to gather all the cutscenes for this video. You can set filters for specific games, worlds, and characters. Hell, you can even look up specific lines of dialogue and it will find the cutscene for you. It saved so much time with finding footage for this video. It's an amazing resource and I highly recommend checking it out. I will be linking it in the description.